This is City Skylines. It's a city building simulation game for PC, Mac, and Linux. It retails on Steam for $29.99, and although they're two completely different genres, this fairly ordinary SimCity inspired indie title has more in common with Joe Montana Football 16 than you may think. And it's nothing but good news for Montana 16. City Skylines is published by Paradox Interactive, a Stockholm company that mainly publishes strategy games, and developed by Colossal Order, a Finland-based studio known for their traffic simulation games Cities in Motion. Colossal Order is a small team with around a dozen or so employees, less than that for most of Skyline's development. It was always Colossal Order's goal to create a full city building simulator, but there was one giant corporation that already had the market cornered: EA. That is, until EA released SimCity, or SimCity 5 as I'll call it from here on out, just for clarification. SimCity 5 released in May of 2013, and it couldn't have gone much worse than it did. EA's big push for SimCity 5 was to try their hand at multiplayer, having multiple people each run their own city in a small region. Players would work together to provide services for their neighboring towns and build public works within their regions for everyone to benefit from. The issue here is that the game required a constant internet connection to play. So, if the servers were down or your internet happened to be out, you couldn't play the game. At all. But that was just the start of the problem. SimCity 5 also gave players a smaller chunk of land to build their cities on, and the game in general was just underwhelming. It was formulaic, and while I personally still got a lot of time out of it, many upon many claimed it bored them to tears. After this happened, Colossal Order got its funding from Paradox Interactive to go forward with their full-on city simulation project. Eventually named City Skylines, Colossal Order would attempt to give all the gamers disappointed with EA's effort the SimCity that they wanted in the first place. Firstly, the game would not require a constant internet connection, which may have been City Skylines' biggest selling point. Secondly, Skylines would allow you to build a city approximately 36 times bigger than SimCity 5. Skylines would also support modding, allowing the many talented designers, developers, and just regular consumers the chance to make the changes to the game they saw fit. Colossal Order threw on top of that their great traffic simulation system and a beautiful water simulation system. Skylines was sounding like the game SimCity 5 should have been all along. And now we begin to see the similarities with Joe Montana 16. One of the biggest concerns is, assuming Joe Montana 16 is an indie game being developed for PC and possibly other devices, how are they going to sell enough units to be successful? Football gamers aren't on PC, right? We'll get to that in just a moment. First, let's look at how well City Skylines did. Remember, this is an indie game from a skeleton development crew and a publisher most of you haven't heard of before. Skylines released on March 10th, 2015, and in its first 24 hours, it sold over 250,000 copies. On April 14th of the same year, it was announced that Skylines had surpassed the 1 million units sold mark in just over a month's time. And the count continues. The Skylines community has created over 33,000 mods for the game, and the good word of mouth is sweeping through social media. Skyline's Metacritic rating currently sits at an impressive 85 over 100 with over 50 reviews. The only SimCity that even comes close to that is SimCity 4 with 84 out of 100. SimCity 5 currently sits at 64 out of 100, and of course there are older SimCity games that don't have a Metacritic score. Even when measured by corporate's idea of success, City Skylines excels. The Madden franchise, while still selling strong with over 5 million units sold every year, has failed to innovate in many areas and has made some questionable decisions when it comes to where their focus and resources for each development cycle goes. In fact, many gamers, including myself, are worried that EA will want the majority of every cycle's focus to go to Madden Ultimate Team, as that's a huge source of EA's profit. Will this, much like EA's focus with SimCity 5, give Montana 16 a way to become a small studio hero? Now obviously there are some differences. City Sims are built for PC gamers. That fan base was already there. However, if Steam has taught us anything, it's that good word of mouth can make almost any genre a success on their platform. There's also the idea that Microsoft is behind Montana 16, which might mean the game won't make its way to Steam and will only be available on the Windows Store. that would be a big blow to this theory, but that would also mean that it may be available for Xbox One as well. So, can Joe Montana Football 16 be the City Skylines of football games? I know a lot of football gamers are completely opposed to PC gaming, and I understand why. However, if Montana 16 not only gives us an inspired game of football right out of the gates, but also supports community mods that allow us to tailor the game to our individual desires, would you support an unlicensed indie game from a publisher you've never heard of and a small development team? Would you be willing to go outside your comfort zone to rock the foundation to which EA has built their Madden monopoly upon? The PC platform is a great equalizer. Hell, EA doesn't even release Madden on PC, and hasn't for a long time. This could be the space for Montana 16 to carve its spot into. Don't get me wrong, I play Madden a lot, and I enjoy it, but I crave something different. And not arcade different, but I'd like to see a team bring fresh ideas to the simulation football field. If you're the same way, regardless of what the game releases for, you need to be ready to support that change. As always, if you liked the vid, give it a like and subscribe. I'll be covering more Montana 16 news as it releases. Share this vid with anyone who's craving a simulation football experience, and thanks for watching. I'm Lex. Catch you next time.